Greetings all. So I'm going to present tonight. This is a short video on the Aries vortex, so everyone will understand what it is. Now, this term is from Ray Merriman's. He's a financial astrologer. He did a book for this year for 2025. And so this is an astrological term. I don't think he originated it. There's another astrologer who did, but I'm calling it the Aries Vanishing Point for reasons which will become obvious. And I'll start reading what I have here now, even though there's some errors. So he talked about this point, and I'm going to put it in my own words and also define some of the planets and their rules and their expressions this year in it. It's not something that will become fixed until 2026, but we're getting a peek at it this year from the beginning of spring to about maybe September. And then it will return again in 2026 and 2027, and then it will disappear. And this particular formation has never been before in its entirety. And as far as I understand, will never be again. And I will delineate exactly what that is precisely to start off and then also to finish up. So, a new dawning for humanity awaits us, and it involves four of the outer planets, which are all moving to new signs. Pluto's already moved into Aquarius. Uranus will move into Jupiter in July. Neptune will move into Aries in late March, and Saturn will move into Aries late May. And so that to reiterate my ontological stance of what this realm is, we have 10 functional lights in the sky, and these code this matrice that we live in, this matrix or matrice, which is And we live in this seemingly simulated realm, which like Lotta Leone and Lalita Curley like to call the inverse, like an inversion, like an overlay of what is real, of a real place. And somehow we're suspended in its mock representation. This is very, very Gnostic in description, like a demiurgic realm. And it has been slowly unraveling. The changing of the color of the sun in the last 30, 40 years. It's almost like a sun that's dying. Evidence of the moon as being a satellite, which is a part of the projection, the artificial projection and control of emotions in this realm through its manipulating frequencies of full moons and new moons. This is an artificial realm that we seem to be in. And it's neither necessarily flat nor global, but it is holographic representation, which astrology elicits in its description of the ecliptic and the model. I should get one soon. There's a certain model that has circles of a sphere and all these circles spinning around it, all these meridians and latitudinal and longitudinal lines. And so it's a realm where these chain gods are stuck to these moving clocks, this sky clock, which we call astrology, which appears to mirror everything that happens in here. And so I'll start with a description of these four outer gods. So Pluto, which will be ruling the year in its kind of revenge. It's out of bounds, it's out of control, it's out of regard for what it will build or what it will destroy this year and up until 2027 and further up until 2026, because that's when I'm just going to put on my mic. That's how long Pluto is going to be out of bounds, which means out of control. And so Pluto or Hades, the god of death, is out of balance, control, regard for what it will build up or what it will destroy. And it will do so relentlessly in its expression, purifying whatever it touches. Neptune or Poseidon rule the cosmic ocean, the water, the mist, the oil, all liquid forms, and all other amorphous forms like fog, incomplete expressions lending illusion, oneness, delusionality, also unity, also collective unity and collective compassion, and also a blurring of boundaries between perceiver and perceived, subject and object, and any solid hold on an ontological reality. Saturn or Kronos binds the light rays into boxes of solid space and reified temporal stasis, making what it touches reality. Now, I want to note here that Saturn is still conjuncting Nessus. This is something Lalita brought to my attention, and it's really an important thing to watch because Nessus is a combination of Mars and Pluto, and thus it relates to death and it relates to the underworld and purification and sudden extremes. It's mostly described in astrological circles as abuse, of course, which can be expressed as self-abuse, or attracting abuse from others, or abusing others. And it lends certain power and magnetism. Uranus shocks us suddenly into higher mental frequencies, tapping into lightning-fast creative expressions and innovations and inventions, and immediately charges whatever it touches. So it gives sudden and quick movement to whatever other planets it's engaging with. No, the age of materialism is now ending, and the age of iron begins. Notice I don't say the age of iron and clay, but perhaps what we're experiencing is a bifurcation, is a biverse expression, because it seems we're coming up to a junction point between Neptune and Saturn, and Jupiter squaring Neptune and Saturn in the summer will underscore and nuance this point of will we be submitting our will to the machine? Will we be becoming mechanized ourselves? Or will we continue to maintain the spirit, the human spirit in our bodies? There's many humans that have already given up their sovereignty and committed themselves to death and the experience of mechanization, the aromatic forces, as Steiner would describe. And there are others that still hold the flame of their life, soul, and essence, and choose at all costs to remain human and will continue to do so. The realm is in an uproar because there are beings dying, and those beings are soulless and lifeless beings who parasite off the human soul and will continue to do so. And freely to those that don't hold their power and their boundaries and give their essence away. It is of utmost importance that people hold on, or at least those who choose to remain human, to hold on to their essence and create their boundaries in gold light, and their own pure gold light, purifying gold light, instead of the blue light frequencies of control, manipulation, and parasitism. Now, this particular point, this degree of Aries 0 to 2 degrees has been charged by the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that occurred in 2020, which began a 12-year synodic cycle. And it will begin when Aries enters on March 20th, 21st. But it'll truly begin when Neptune emerges in 0 degrees Aries on March 29th. Now, in human design, this is gate 25, the gate of universal love. Each planet will express itself through its hue, through its color, frequency, hue differently, and it will elicit certain responses from the collective. The vanishing point, as I call it, is a minor grand trine overlaid at this early world axis degree of Aries. Now, there are other layers of things occurring. The Venus star point, which is like an over 200-year process of the transits of Venus and the Sun creating a pentagram, an upright star pentagram shape. And currently it's at 2 degrees Aries. And so that is another overlay and very powerful, loving, harmonic frequency charging these particular degrees. Also, Pluto being in Aquarius and Uranus soon to be in Gemini will create a sextile to this particular point, and the midpoint of it will actually be this vanishing point of Aries 0, 1 degrees. Nothing will be as it seems. You will need to discern for yourself what is real and what is imagination. No one is going to be able to tell you. We're in a time now where we have to make our own decisions and take full responsibility and accountability for our own decisions. Now, the collective dream may appear as a collective crisis, eliciting from us some reactive proposition of action. The full moons and the new moons will be used to elicit and create that chaos within us and spark reactions. However, it is important to remember that we are passive dreamers, observing and witnessing, and only responding whence time dictates the correct spirit-inspired responses. Things will emerge and disappear, both natural and unnatural, both humans and beings of this and other realms. And all will flip back during the fall until this energy will rise again in the spring of 2026, where the outer planets will settle into their new home, masculine fire and air signs. These signs of Aquarius, Gemini, and Aries represent different dimensions of experiences, but together will flow, destroy, and create with much upheaval and transformation as the ultimate new rave year cycle of Pluto in gate 41 commences, with its theme of limiting resources beginning this year. Surrender to the processes of your higher order faculties of vision, beingness, self-care, and acting out the joys of the soul. Creative will towards building anew. And remember, most importantly, the connection with water and the oceans of the deep. For, as Huxley said years ago, we are amphibious beings. We're both of the land and we're both of the water. But where we came from, as Black Sabbath mentions in their song Children of the Sea. And after, of course, listening to that song, it will all be clear. The best to you all this year. I'm going to share one more image, and this will be of what Ray Merriman's calling the magic triangle. I'm using his chart because it's just, he has a simple model of it expressed here. So as you can see here, this is a chart with Aries on the horizon, and this is August 29th, 2025 at noon, New York. And you could see correctly Aries 0 degrees on the horizon on the ascendant rising. So you have Saturn and Neptune in Aries, 0 and 1 degrees, both retrograding. Pluto at 1 degree Aquarius, retrograding. And then you have Uranus here, having pretty much just entered over maybe a month prior into Gemini, creating the midpoint right here, also sextiling this particular area. Saturn and Neptune in conjunction, and both Pluto and Uranus in trine to each other. This creates almost a nexus point or an omega point with an overlay that plays with time. And so I see it as a vanishing point where things will appear and disappear according to our will. And as expressed in mundane astrology, each of the outer planets, all of the planets represent a class of society. Some classes will be going through huge transformation as we slowly watch in these next couple of years as more and more structures dissolve, disappear, burn up, and become destroyed, and making way for a new reality. I hope this was clear and supportive for all of you. Please comment below. Please subscribe and share with other people. I'm very happy and proud to present this idea and this frame of this Aries vortex, and as I call it, Aries vanishing point, because if you have any planets in your own chart early in Aries or early in its opposite sign Libra or in any of the early Aquarius or early Gemini as featured in this particular magic triangle, you will feel this even more intently and have more kind of sway and power over this impact and how you want to manifest or manipulate this energy in your own life and what you want to create, because it is a huge opportunity. The best to you all.